Welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. We hope you're enjoying your summer so far. We're heading in to June, which means it's nice, beautiful weather up here, and is 1 billion degrees if you live in Texas. Godspeed. If you guys and gals are looking for car parts, though, we want you to go mod your car over at MartiniWorks.com. We got a whole bunch of new good stuff happening out on the website. You'll notice that we're starting to make improvements to the actual product pages because guess what? Stock photos suck.
Yeah, they do.
Stock photos, we're talking about the one picture that everyone has on their website. Booties.
I love like Japanese brands and stuff like that. Like great parts, right? Undoubtedly, really good parts. But their images have not been updated since like fucking 2002. So it's like 90 pixel by 90 pixel fucking.
Yeah, my favorite part is going to the Work Japan website where I go to like learn about their bead knurling, and their photos are just pictures of the monitors of the engineers working at the factory. Like that's how bad it is.
I feel like their websites were made for like BlackBerry web browsing, like those little phones, and that's about it.
They were made once, and that was it. Like once they pressed live, that person killed. They killed them, and they're like, "We're deleting all the passwords to update the website.
Needed.
We got what we needed."
Yeah, I will say, what website was I on the other day? It was either Volk or Work. It was, I think it was maybe like Raise or something like that, and they like updated it, and it is the most confusing goddamn experience that I've ever, because like you have to scroll, and then the whole like thing.
I feel like Apple did that first.
It's like it doesn't actually scroll down. It like.
It moves.
It morphs. Wow. And then it's like, what the hell am I trying to get to right now? It's showing me like these crazy vans on like fucking T37s. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, we want you to have an interactive experience looking at our wheels.
Yeah, I mean, their products speak for themselves. So
yeah,
they don't really
care.
Well, I hope their products speak for themselves. Their website can't because it don't load.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys didn't know, we are updating the product pictures with actual good quality photos so you can see exactly what you're buying. We have some new changes that are on the product pages as well, which is like our experience with the product, so you can kind of get a sniff of, you know, did we enjoy it? Do we like it? What were our thoughts when we were unboxing it and installing it? And we've got a whole bunch of new blogs out there too. So if you enjoy reading versus listening or watching, we got something for everyone. We got all kinds of ability. What's like the different types of learning in school?
I don't know.
Do you guys remember how they had like different learning? People learn differently. Your mom was a teacher. You should know this.
She is a teacher.
They all gave us the same exact shit. What do you mean
like
people
50
learn different?
kids in my high school. We all learned exactly the same. And if you didn't, you sucked. Yeah.
Well, okay.
I was the one that sucked.
Guys, I hate to tell you this, but there's actually like people learn differently. Like some people learn by listening, some people learn by doing.
I know, I'm aware of that, but the schools don't know that.
We are in one of the best public education states in the world, and you're telling me that they didn't do that for you?
Beaver Dam High School is one of the best educations.
Wisconsin has some of the best education in the United States. I think it's ranked second.
Sorry for everybody else.
Yeah, the more south you go, the lower it gets, though. So I don't know what that means.
Interesting.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm talking shit.
I must be smart as hell. I'm way up north. About as north as you can get.
Yeah, when you're next to Canada, you're Einstein. If your name is Gabriel E., Alex N., Drake R., Isaac T., Danny M., John W., Chase H., Stephen L., Early D., Ben C., Isaiah R., Kevin Ars S., Sean L., thank you so much for your support over the last week of picking up either wheels or performance parts or wheel and tire packages. We have been doing some pretty awesome wheel and tire packages on MartiniWorks.
It's been cool to see stuff coming through.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, so we really appreciate it. Gonna be honest, when we launched the wheel verifier tool, which shows people, hey, do you have a replica design wheel? Do you have an inspired by design wheel? Or do you have an original design wheel?
Scary.
Also, with the construction of what's it made out of and how's it made, we were a bit scared. We're going to be honest. Like, that could also push people away from buying stuff, right? But we felt it was still the right thing. And we actually saw people, like, buy more. They're like, oh, thanks, dude. Thanks for finally telling me what I was buying because I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
And so
I was going to buy it anyway, but at least now I know.
Yeah, exactly. So we do appreciate it, and we have actually had a couple people pick up wheel, tire, and suspension packages.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're picking up Koenig wheels, Continental tires, and then like BC Racing coilovers.
That's an entire transformation.
Yeah, you're about to have a great time.
Your car's gonna look different after that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into it, any updates on the old Supra, Dakota?
No, I haven't actually driven it because I'm 2,000 miles over my oil change. So
Change your damn oil.
I've parked it. You need money to change your oil,
Oh,
and
here
I don't
we
have
go.
money.
To be fair,
Didn't
the
he
last-
just post a video of him like doing an ECS intake and an
here's the thing.
ECS
Here's the thing.
fake
He's
blow-off
saying,
valve?
I know what it
I
is.
love that my wife can get car parts. Yes,
How come you drive it more than she does? I don't see
because
Maya
she
driving
works
the
from
Golf
home,
R.
and I get forced to come here.
Maya, I know for a fact that you would want to drive that car more. Blink twice if you need help.
I know what it actually is.
Okay, what is
The
it?
last time Dakota got his oil changed, they put nails in his tires, and then he had to buy new tires.
True. The last 3 oil changes I did myself.
Oh.
The first oil change because I had Toyota Care, which offered a free oil change. They put 2 fucking nails in each of my tires.
I don't
So
believe-
I said, "Fuck your free oil change. I'll do it myself."
I don't
thought you were
believe
just
I don't
traumatized.
believe in anything free. Which, by the way,
you
I
shouldn't.
should call Bergstrom Nissan because I bought one of those packages, and they're like, "Yeah, if you sell the car, just let us know. We'll give you a reimbursement for the rest of it."
I don't think you can call them.
Yeah, you
Why
kinda
can't I call him?
burn that bridge.
I
Yeah.
didn't burn that bridge.
You talked hella shit on
I
me.
didn't talk hella shit. I'm saying, and I stand on this.
To be
that
fair, if you bought
it was
it-
a weird experience.
If you bought it and they said if you sell it, you get it back. Yeah, I would probably call him.
And I can't believe you haven't.
I kind of
You'd be like the first person.
You would
that
be
I-
the first person. Yeah.
yeah, I know, because I'm the cheapest one on the
Yeah, you'd
group.
be like, "I'm thinking of selling my car. Can I have my money back now?"
I do like.
Yeah, you'd
getting
have it
my
like
money
sign.
back. So
You'd have it like signed and like, all right, just show proof of like when it's actually sold. And you're-
yeah. Anyway, Gels, anything new with the cars on your side?
Not a whole lot, just maintenance shit, all the boring stuff.
Same.
Yeah, a lot of sensors.
Same.
Sensors. I hate that. I'm gonna sound like an old man. Why the fuck? There's so many goddamn. One sensor went out on the BMW somewhere. I'm trying to track it down. I'm pretty sure it's a wheel speed sensor. Which one of the 4? No idea. But it is like disabled the entire car in its functionality.
Gels officially has more lights lit up on his dash
fucking
than
wild.
Dakota did on his Mark IV, which is saying something because
Dude,
I'm
it
pretty
goes
sure the Mark
insane.
IV had a disease.
Mark IVs come with lights from the factory. Like, that's just normal. They're on.
And it wouldn't be so bad.
They say hello.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be so bad, but I now have an entire jingle that sings to me every time I get in the car. It's like ding, 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 as like every 50 of the
Didn't you say
fucking
too,
lights.
like, even your all-wheel drive isn't working?
Yeah, so yeah, because of this one fucking sensor.
When did the
apparently.
sensor go out?
Like a week ago or so.
Only a week ago?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You're not as bad.
About a week ago. And I have the new sensors. It just came in the mail yesterday. I bought one for the front, one for the rear, and I'm just gonna fucking hot swap and see which one fixes it. Hopefully that is it. Otherwise it's an ABS module, but I'm pretty sure it's just a wheel speed sensor. But yeah, this thing that has gone out has disabled ABS. It's disabled traction control. It has put the car from all-wheel drive to two-wheel drive,
Is it front wheel drive or rear wheel drive now?
rear wheel. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
would
I wouldn't
imagine.
fix it.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Let her eat.
Yeah, I actually did it on purpose.
A lot of all-wheel drive cars are front-wheel drive bias typically.
I think the BMW.
But I don't know
could be
about
wrong.
BMW.
I could be wrong. I
We
think the
have
BMWs are more rear
a
wheel.
brand new patch of asphalt outside our shop.
We can
I
go
feel like
figure it
you
out.
should.
We
go
can figure
find-
out what bias it is pretty quick because there's no traction control or anything apparently. But yeah, the
Sorry.
biggest sad part. There's no cruise control.
Jesus fuck! It just
It disabled the whole fucking
Everything.
car.
my God.
Yeah, we're gonna get that figured out. But yeah, it's just a lot of maintenance stuff. The 240 needs maintenance. The RX-8, surprisingly, the most maintenance-free one out of all of them.
Yeah, you did that maintenance and
That was a lot of proactive. There was a lot of proactive stuff.
You did that on the side of a mountain.
I did.
Yeah, that's when you did your maintenance. So that one's good for a bit. Alex, your Ferrari needs a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we are replacing the air suspension, and while we're in there, as they say, we're kind of just taking care of a couple other things. So
The motto around the shop lately has been, I'm gonna just do it right this time.
yeah, that. I want to get a shirt that just says "Do it right," and then it's actually
Do it
reversed.
right, do it tight.
Yeah, and then it just flips down so I can read it, so I remind myself as I'm trying to
Yeah,
cut corners
yeah.
to
Make
just
it
do it
upside
right. Yeah, but we're making progress. So airlift, we're gonna throw that in there. We're gonna see how it goes, how it performs, and if we don't like it, we're going to coils. Turns out.
Wait. Before we get to this, I think the main culprit of why your air suspension was so bad was the fact that there was 3 gallons of water in your tanks.
There was a lot of water in there.
That going
From
through
the
system
beginning.
and in the lines, yeah, that's why.
From the beginning, Dakota has just reamed this guy out.
Yeah,
for
he
not
doesn't.
having water traps in his system. I was like, it's fine.
Well, I don't know if I ever said it's fine. I just
like,
didn't ever want
yeah.
to put it in. Like I didn't want to.
In a way, you did say it was fine because you never addressed it.
Yeah, I mean, what is it like?
been years.
Acceptance by ignorance or something like that, where it's like, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
that's the thing too. It's like those were relatively newer tanks too. That was the second rendition that we went through because you had the Endo CVT tank.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
it was just
a lot of
one.
water.
And those are
Airlift should be on a pedestal by the time we're done. That's all I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Because nothing should be wrong with it anymore. But no,
That's what I'm saying.
I also have a couple lights on my dash on the S2K.
You had a big light
Not
on the
because of
inside.
a sensor though, because
Well,
because of the lack thereof sensors. But good news, I reached out to some friends. ECU Masters is sending me pretty much everything that I need to get the car back up and running. So they sent me like a first batch of stuff. So I had like a new dash and wiring and an adapter for the ECU so that we can retune it and get it all set up right. And then Corey Salaska, myself, and then Jackson walked through the car again.
Hell yeah.
Kind of giving like a second look at it. And we're like, well, we really should probably clean up. Like, we need a data logger. We should actually get some new sensors for this.
Yeah.
Let's actually replumb this and get it in the right position. And so we're doing a couple more things. We're going to relocate the battery to the back. We're going to move that fuse box further into the corner. We're going to put a heat shield up to go on the passenger side to kind of protect it. And then we are never installing a turbo blanket in our S2000 ever again.
What?
why?
Because everyone that I've talked to and pretty much everyone that I've spoken with says that the S2000, like just putting a turbo blanket on is not a good idea to run on the racetrack because apparently because you're absorbing any sort of oil, because you're absorbing any sort of liquid or fluid, it essentially acts as just this thing that if it does get too hot, it becomes the fire source.
Yeah. I mean, from
Ignition point. It's an
Yeah.
ignition point. It's not the cause of the fire, but it can be an ignition
well, in
point
this
for it.
case, it kind of was.
Yeah, so they say it's better to run without it and just protect the heat that comes off the turbo through the use of like some shielding and stuff than to have anything that can absorb anything because if it does get hot, it's going to start on fire. So
Interesting.
I'm really leaning on friends to make that decision because it's kind of like heat wrap on the manifolds when we did it with the 430. It was a very controversial take, but at the end of the day, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's isolating heat inside of the heat wrap. So I think we did the right move. But on this one, what they're saying is it's more of a risk to have, especially on the track, than to just deal with heat the right way. Which
So with a turbo blanket on like a street car, though, that's fine.
Yeah. On a street car, that's fine. They're saying on a track car, not so much, just because there's more of a potential of any sort of something absorbing into it and then it being the ignition part of a fire.
And then what about like a blankie on me if I go to bed?
I would say that that's okay. I would say if you have too many blankies
Actually,
on you.
I got something controversial. Me and my wife argue about this.
Are we talking about blankies?
Yes. In the worst
You
way.
brought it up.
She wanted an electric blanket, one you plug in, and I said that is the biggest fucking fire hazard that's ever been created.
That's some boomer energy from
But
you.
she wouldn't let up. So for Christmas, I fucking got her one. Now I made rules with it, and she acts like I'm the craziest fucker in the world. But I'm like, you're not using it. Don't leave it plugged in. Don't like. She's like, it's not hot enough. I have to use 2 blankets. I'm like, no, you're not using 2 fucking blankets with the heated
How cold do you
blanket.
keep the house?
35.
sounds about
Celsius?
No. No, I'm just kidding. It's just, I feel like women in general are generally pretty cold. Like they're always just cold. Anyways, am I crazy for not trusting a heated blanket?
Where did you get the heated blanket from?
Amazon.
No,
Ooh,
you're not crazy.
I don't know if I trust it.
Where would you get a heated blanket?
I don't know, a heated blanket store?
No, I'm just saying. Like, no, you're not crazy. No,
But I know, but like
heating
I bought
elements
it,
in
so.
general like that just plug into something and just get hot terrify me.
In fabric. Yeah, like it's just not. I feel like it's
Yeah, those two
terrible.
things really shouldn't go together. Like, I'm gonna get this really warm, but it's encased in a soft material so that you feel comfy.
And then I'm gonna leave it plugged in, and I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna forget about it. And it's gonna sit there all day, fucking plugged in at 85 degrees.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we have 2 outdoor shelters, like cat shelters, and Becca bought 2 heated blankets for them.
Oh God.
And I was like, okay, fine. We can plug them in. It's probably going to be, an electric bill, but it's whatever. And she's like, okay, sounds good. So she plugs it in. And I'm like, well, when are you going to turn it on? You're just going to have it set to like turn on at night and then turn off during the day? And she's like, oh, no, it's running all the time. I was like, okay, I don't know if they need that. She's like, yeah, but it gets cold at night. I'm like, well, it gets to like 40 degrees. I'm like, how hot do you have it? And she's like, 100.
Yeah, they do get hot.
You can get those like timers.
I know. Trust me. I
okay,
know that there's an ability to have it set to do what it needs to do.
Sorry.
All right, but that's not what we decided to do.
I don't like heated blankets. I think they're a terrible idea.
Well, our cats
Or
love
turbo
heated
blankets. Fuck blankets. No more blankets.
Blankets suck.
Anyway, so besides that, making progress on the car, looking okay, and hopefully we'll have it ready for July.
Hopefully.
Planned.
Do you ever wish that this had the stock engine in it and that was turbo?
No, because I don't look back.
Okay.
Because that fills me with regret, and I choose to
So
not.
it sounds like he would read. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, because I don't look back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
well, anyway. So with you guys out there, what are your projects? Drop it in the comments below. It would mean the world how your project's going. And we'd like to take just a brief break, but not before talking about our sponsor.
Conti.
I really wish you didn't do that. But yes, Continental Tire is the official partner of the MartiniWorks podcast. Continental's been with us for a long time. We're actually going to visit them
Yes, I'm
next
excited.
week or a week and a half
We're
from
going
now.
to the actual fucking spot.
Yeah, we're going to the source.
The source.
We're going to sip that Kool-Aid
We're going
and
to cut
see what
down
it's all
rubber
about.
trees and make rubber.
That's not how
Not
that
even like
works.
rubber anymore.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
They're going to probably talk about sustainability and, doing good stuff for the earth, because that's what all the tire companies are on about. But it's actually pretty cool, because we're going to go see a soccer game.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Never
And then we're
been
going
to
to go
that.
check out the actual facility. So we're going to go see Continental HQ, as it were. And I get a little bit behind the scenes look at Continental Tire, which is rad. But what's super rad is that Continental has a very wide range of product lines for you. So if you have something that's a daily driver, they have a tire option for you. If you got something that's more track oriented, they have something for you. If you're looking to get something because you're just scared that some sort of apocalypse is coming, which is going to put us back into like the ice age, like watching The Day After Tomorrow, they do have tires for you as well, like the Viking Contact. Okay, so here, listen, that movie's great, by the way. But Continental does have a really great suite of tires available. Plus, they're very competitively priced, and they have an awesome warranty. So you're pretty much set to go across the board if you do need a set of tires. Pick up some Continentals from MartiniWorks.com, and thank you, Continental, for being the MartiniWorks premier #1 alpha sponsor of the MartiniWorks podcast.
Sheesh.
We've been noticing there has been a massive influx of car events, at least up here in the local area. I feel like if anybody's hosting a car meet on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, they're calling it Cars and Coffee. Spoiler alert, Cars and Coffee is a morning activity, and it typically starts at like 7 and ends at 10. And if you're not hosting a show in between those hours, don't fucking call your event Cars and
Are
Coffee.
you gatekeeping?
I'm
Cars and
gatekeeping
Coffee?
the name a little bit. Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
he
I am.
is.
There needs to be, like, the coffee is an element of a Cars and Coffee. It needs to be included in the event, which actually got me thinking, what makes a good, like, car event, car show?
I got you. I got some stuff right off the dome.
Okay, hit me with, like, what is the #1 thing you think people are missing
Sure.
in a good car event?
Thinking that the show needs to be 8+ hours long. I fucking hate car shows that are that long.
Might as well just tag them.
And not even like as a person that worked, like going, I remember attending car shows and like I have my car in it. Once your car's in it, you cannot leave. And because fire safety, all that shit, like you have to have your battery unplugged, whatever.
Well, plus it like creates like empty spots and
Dude,
stuff. Yeah.
by the 5th pass of walking around, and they don't really plan any like events or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's an indoor car show. You're just like, I get judging takes a while, but dude, I literally left, walked out the building, went to our hotel, took a nap, came back. I'm like, what the fuck else am I doing for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Like, I hate car shows that are 8 hours plus. It's ridiculous.
Chels.
So what makes a good car show?
Yeah, I mean,
would
like,
say-
what do you think is what's the #1 thing you think event organizers miss when hosting a car show?
Ooh. Oh, that they miss. Oh man. I mean,
yeah.
one of the things that really kind of like makes or breaks it for me is like a good location. Like it's not just some like random like fucking parking lot or something like that. It's I think we've been to some really cool venues like Riverside, for instance. Such a cool, unique venue with like the big pavilion and then like the baseball park that's like right next to it. I actually really liked when we did ours at the Timber Rattler Stadium because we got to park like on the concourse and like on like the field and stuff too, which was really neat. So I think, the locations can be really, really unique. It doesn't just have to be some random parking lot just because it's big and it fits cars.
Because, that's the thing is like, I feel like you got to have some stuff going on during the car show. Like, because you can go through the cars rather quickly and check them out. Like, it takes a little bit of time, but after that, there's kind of nothing. So you need, if you're at a nice place, you can go check out the surrounding area and building and stuff that you're in, and it makes it a lot better. So I agree with that completely.
I think one of the biggest things event organizers miss is just like planning the traffic coming into the show. We've been guilty of it too in past events, but we've gotten a lot better with it. But the 9-hour events that take 2.5 hours to get into is absolutely ridiculous and totally unnecessary. I mean, for us, the season opener up here in Wisconsin is our largest event, and we have traffic from pretty much 11:30 to 3 o'clock. However, if you arrive early, we always tell people, like, if you arrive at 12, you are probably going to wait like the longest. We want you to just be prepared for that. And if you come in later than that, the line only increases from there. But we had at 1 o'clock, it would take probably about 30 minutes to get from your car coming into the event, getting parked, and then getting into the actual venue. And I said, if it's under 45, it's 30 minutes, it's good. It took, I remember, I think it was like a year or two ago. It took like 2.5 hours to get into some of these events on a 9-hour event. And it's like, what the hell's the point and it's not like we were late. They were just like, yes, you must, we're not doing this until 1 o'clock, or we don't open the doors until 1 o'clock. And it's like, okay, whatever. You get there to go through the doors and it's like 2,000 people and 2 doors are open.
And there's
like,
single file just going in 2 miles an hour rolling.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing people miss. And just notifying people that are coming, like, what the plan is. I've always noticed that, like, there's so much emphasis on, like, here's the date, here's the time, get there, have fun, spend money. And then it's like, okay, well, what's going on? We're not going to tell you. You just have to figure it out when you get here. It's like, I'm not a huge fan of that.
With that too, I've noticed, like, especially, obviously this only really relates to like the indoor portions of like shows and stuff too, but it's like I understand, but it's always, it's like the goddamn like TSA at every airport. It's all fucking different, and like people care about it, but they don't care about like the disconnecting batteries and like quarter tank of gas.
Yeah.
It's like, are we doing it?
Weird.
Are we not doing it? Are people coming around to check? Do we need to, like, what's going on with that? Because I get 5 different answers no matter who I ask.
It's different every time.
Yeah, so that's an insurance thing.
Right, which I get.
From the venue, but the venue has to enforce it, not the event organizers.
Right.
And a lot of times the host or even like the venue won't enforce it because they don't want to pay people to come and actually check
Right,
it.
because you usually have to have like an actual fire marshal.
Fire marshal, fires. And Gatlinburg does have people that will go around and like check things out.
Yeah, because they usually bring people out of the...
Yes.
They bring everyone out, they go and check everything, and then they bring
That's also to
everyone
make
in.
them pay.
The weird thing is, though, I've been at events with fire marshals too, and they don't do anything.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's so hit or miss. I feel like it depends on if you get the guy in the good mood or the guy's like, nah, these cars are dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've also been to an event where I needed to drive for 45 minutes back and forth to get my fuel level from half to quarter.
I've noticed that a lot of times they'll enforce that super heavily in like certain venues, like certain places. Like in Chicago, I've noticed like they will, like the Expo Center in Chicago, they watch that shit like hawks versus like down in Tennessee for like Gatlinburg or it's fine. Whatever.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so...
I would say the only other thing as you start to like go to a lot of car shows, it is nice to have some sort of like music or venue setup where it's like there's a structure to the event, like music is really nice. And then if you have a DJ or some sort of MC that's like walking people through what's going on for the day, I think that's super rad. Maybe like that. Yeah.
Like
giveaways, trophies, tug of war, things like that.
Yeah, because it helps the day go by, and it's like, something to look forward to, and stuff like Dakota said, stuff to do as well.
I will say the one thing you can't mess up at least up here in the north, good food.
Yeah, you gotta
good
have
food
good
will make
food.
or break a car show. I know people that come to our events, not even for the cars,
Cheese
but
curds.
for the goddamn cheese curds, dude.
Those cheese curds are on another level.
Dude, it's like that food truck is realistically, and I love Nick, but he's probably the most difficult person to deal with when it comes to food.
Damn.
Truck. He is super difficult to deal with. Like just
In what way?
the phone calls, huh? Yeah, it's like the phone calls and the emails. It's difficult. He's a difficult guy. He knows he's difficult. We know he's difficult.
But he
We're
knows
just-
he knows his worth though.
Yeah.
He knows his worth
Yeah.
in the cheese curd. He's
in
like,
what
I'm gonna
way?
be there either way.
Like he's hard to get a hold of.
all of it.
Okay,
Imagine all of it. Like it's one of those things where it's like
The cheese curd guy is tough to get a hold of. I can deal with that. He's gonna be there. He's always been there.
like the venue is like, hey Alex, everybody has signed their liability release form for the event concessions.
But the curd guy.
Except Nick. Can you please? We have been trying to contact him for 7 weeks.
He probably
now.
knows he's handing out heart attacks with them deep fried cheese
He
curds. He's like, I
needs-
can't sign
He's
that
like legally,
liability.
I legally, if I sign this, I can't come.
He needs to pay for soda, and he's not going to be allowed to sell soda if he doesn't sign this. So then Dustin and I end up having to call him, and it's like, hello. Nah, the venue, they don't need that. They don't need that. I'm like,
I
Nick,
kind of side with Nick on this.
Nick, listen, bro, I'm not making the rules. They're telling me that you're not allowed in until you sign them. They don't know what they're talking about. I'll be there on Sunday though, so don't worry about it. I'm
Bro,
like,
slinging
no.
cheese curds. Just let him live.
That's the shit no one thinks about though. Like organizing the event is
Dude,
dealing
there's
with all
a
the
secret-
people. And I remember being at one WCC event where the fucking food truck guy took out the garage door on the way out, and I watched that shit happen.
That was like 2020, I think,
Oh,
or 2021. No, 2019. That was, yeah. We've had some wild stories. Good food makes a good car show. And drinks and having shade is really nice. Having
Ooh,
places
yeah.
for people to sit down.
Sit.
If
Yes.
you're gonna
Yes.
make people be outside
lounge
for
area.
7 hours, have a lounge area. Like that's what I will say. Having lounge areas are huge. That's why, like, even with the MartiniWorks booth, we're constantly trying to build our booth to be a place where you can like hang out.
People do.
Yeah.
People
Otherwise,
come
people,
and they
otherwise
take a
people,
load
yeah,
off.
otherwise people are just gonna sit in their cars, and that's boring.
Yeah, or take a nap.
I've literally walked up to people that they go sit in their car and take
Yeah,
a nap.
Dakota will come find
Oh,
you.
it's funny. I don't know if you guys have seen, if you're watching the podcast, if you've seen, it went pretty viral, honestly. I went up and
We were at Riverside.
we were at Riverside. I seen a guy sleeping in his car, and it was me and Gels. We were literally walking around looking to like review people's cars and stuff. And I was like, dude, Gels, look like that guy's fucking sleeping in his car. I was like, we have to do something. Gels like, I don't know. He's sleeping, leave him alone.
He was zonked.
Yeah. and I
hat
was
over
like,
the face, like just.
I gotta do something. So top of the head, I'm just gonna go ask him bags or static, because he has like a stand stout car and stuff, and we'll get his response. So I start in the back of his car, walk up to him, and I'm just like, hey dude, and he's like, what? I'm like, bags or static? And he answered. So many people thought that video was staged. I promise you 1000% everything on my life, on my parents, that video was not staged in any way, shape, or form. I did not talk to him. I did not know who that was. I'd never seen him before in my life. He was sleeping and I woke him up. That's how he responded. And that was the video. So yeah, I mean, so
What
it
did he
made for a
say?
good video. What did he say?
What did he say? Yeah.
You were like, bags are static.
And he said static. And I was like, oh, nice. Why? Or something like that. And he was like, what did he say?
He's like, this is gangster as fuck.
Because it's gangster as
And
fuck.
you're like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
thanks, man. He's like,
Yeah. And they just went back to
Static.
sleep. Which, by the way, after the fact, he did message me. We got in contact, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah. That's why Riverside's awesome. The best part about Riverside as an event, why we talk about it so much, and I hope it never like gets worse or anything like that. But like the venue's fantastic.
Yep, venue's
right?
super cool.
The people that have to get inside the actual show, you have to be up at like the ass crack of dawn. That part sucks. But once you're locked in, once you're locked and loaded, it's an awesome event. Because they've got almost like 2 events going on. There's an event inside the actual pavilion, and then there's like a Simply Clean Expo that happens at like the park that's like right across the street. And then there's a food place
Yes,
and
that's
a brewery that's
food. They had a
within walking
fucking
distance.
king crab truck.
Yeah, they had great food. And
they
there's
had
like
a hibachi truck there this year.
What?
yeah, there was like 14 food trucks there. And that's the whole point. Like you go there, you walk around, you check out the cars, you shoot some photos, you get a coffee. Then you go back out, you check out more cars, you come back, you grab lunch.
Yep.
Then you go to one of the booths, maybe you jump on a simmer.
I need a
Like,
snack.
There's activities and food.
Yes.
Like as long as there's food, your event can be at least
I'm
5
happy.
hours long.
No, Riverside's a good one. I agree. It's just like, at the end of the day, like you feel good. Like it was a good vibe.
Dude, that's why like expo centers have to do better with this because the whole
usually-
offering fucking chicken tenders and bullshit shitty Cisco burgers
microwave
for
burgers.
$14.
Yeah.
is stupid. It is stupid. I will happily like bring in as much food as I possibly can illegally because if you're selling me $18 chicken nuggets, I'm gonna fight somebody.
Dude, I remember we had to like smuggle in McDonald's because we were at the fucking show so goddamn early, and
yeah.
they were like real sticklers on outside like food and drink, and we brought in, I shit you not, it was like a fucking like operation of a duffel bag of like McDonald's breakfast of like fucking egg McMuffins, sausage burritos, and just like a fucking like huge thing of like hash
I
browns.
remember that bill was like $180.
Handing them out. And we like opened up the duffel bag and it was like the loot bag of fucking, dude, that smell was ridiculous.
You guys eat while you drive?
No.
Not usually, no.
I do on road trips.
Yeah.
If
What are
we-
you eating?
Yeah, what's your go-to snack?
I think we've kind of discussed that before.
I know what it is. I know what your go-to snack is.
My go-to snack?
well,
Okay.
like one of your like long-term snacks.
I remember.
Isn't it
I
the
Yeah. How good you listen?
like Slim Jims?
No.
It's like beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Beef
We'll
jerky.
I'll give you beef
Yeah.
jerky.
Yeah, because it's like you kind of are like
you gotta like chew
chew it, and
on
it's an action.
Yeah, it's an action.
Yeah, mine's sunflower seeds.
sunflower seeds.
I like sunflower seeds, but
It's
too messy.
It's a handful.
Unless
yeah.
you're one of them freaks that commits to just
No,
eating the
no,
fucking
no,
seed.
don't do that.
I had a
Don't
friend that
fucking do
did
that.
that. He just fucking
That's gross.
it's fucking wild.
Gross.
I didn't fuck
The
like,
results of that suck.
yeah, I
What,
well,
pooping it out?
Yeah.
Oh.
not if you grind it up good enough though.
I wasn't grinding them up.
I'm trying to think of like what my favorite.
But like I'll go through a drive-through and fucking snack.
See, I don't like the oil feeling.
Yeah.
They give you napkins, brother.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't
And my
get
wife
rid of it.
always carries
it
the
doesn't
hand
get rid of
squirt
it.
stuff.
See, the big reason I don't like McDonald's is that oil that
Grease.
like comes
greasy
off of
food.
your fingers.
That's funny. That's the main reason I like McDonald's. I like
Interesting.
sucking my fingers off after I get a big old greasy bacon,
I know what my
egg, and cheese
go-to
bagel.
is.
What?
I know what my go-to is. Because I don't like that feeling. Cliff Bars.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty basic
I
when it
think
comes
I,
to my
um,
snacks.
That's fine.
I interviewed Gears and Gasoline, and I
Mm-hmm.
asked them their favorite road trips, because they do road trips. Like it's their job to do
Yeah.
road trips, right?
They
Well,
gotta
part of
have-
it. I
they
should
gotta
say.
know.
And yeah, I think Cliff Bars was up.
No,
there.
it was.
Well, there's a
Cliff Bars-
cookie.
Yeah,
There
they
was
have protein cookies.
a protein
Yeah.
cookie, and he said it was really good. But something like Cliff Bars.
Yeah, like the protein bars and like all that stuff are usually my favorite go-to because I don't know what it is, man, but I just when I'm doing like a longer drive and like you get like that food, right? You get like the McDonald's, you get like the heavy snacks. I've tried it once, I'll eat it all, and then I just feel like
Yeah.
I feel like just a big bag of shit driving a car
I
for like
get
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Taco Bell's not fun to eat while driving.
I don't know how.
I did that.
we tried that.
I did that.
I've tried to eat a lot of Taco Bell.
On my last road trip, I did that, and
Becca's a G though because we have done Taco John's because it's better than Taco Bell, and she'll like set up the soft shell taco with the potato light in the taco with the hot sauce.
she loads it up
with
for
the
you.
nacho cheese.
Yeah.
And and she'll load it up for me. And
you know,
so good.
so you do eat while driving. Gotcha.
yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah. What the hell?
Well, I mean, I've done it like a handful of times.
Yeah. It's not my favorite thing to do.
No, it's not.
I'll
a
do it in a
pastime.
pinch, but I'm not gonna.
I don't mind it. I think it's kind of nice, just chilling, have a snack,
No.
open road. Now, if I'm in like
Just-
You make it sound
Just
great.
you,
It is. Make it
just,
sound
yeah, just you, the open road, and a beefy 5 liter.
no. Taco Bell is not good for driving for multiple reasons. It's just terrible, messy to eat. Terrible, messy when you got to stop. It's just bad.
Sorry.
Anyway, so car show events.
all I can think about is just when we did that fucking taco eating challenge.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Dude, that was kind of
Johan,
scary.
what,
With
Johan
Johan
Schwartz, right?
and
Guinness World Record holder of longest drift.
Yeah, yeah. And we're like, Johan, bring him up for this like big filming day. He's like, we're gonna drive the car really hard. I'm gonna sit passenger. I'm gonna just eat as many times. And he's
Johan's
like,
the goat, though.
"What?"
He was for it. Yeah, he was like, "What the hell?" But he was so for it, and he would even do shit. He'd start like slalom.
Yeah.
So you're like, "Oh."
There
my
was
God,
one
that's
part.
Lettuce is flying everywhere.
There was one part, I think it was Sean Berger, where Johan like tilted the steering wheel. It was like up a left-hander.
Yeah.
And he went to go turn left, turned it right and then turned left
Yeah.
up the hill. And the meat, tomato, and lettuce like shot literally horizontally out of the taco. And it hit the window. And you just see Sean like, and grab another taco. Oh
If
my
you have
god!
a professional race car driver driving on a track while you're trying to eat tacos, it sounded like a really funny, cool idea. I thought I was going to choke multiple times.
Yeah.
I thought I was literally
That was
like,
the hardest
choking.
thing I've ever done in my life.
Did you
I-
win?
No, Sean won.
Sean won.
Yeah, because it was like the last straightaway. He grabbed like 4 and
Shout out, Sean.
We miss Sean Berger. Sean, come back to us.
Let's go to Florida. Let's go visit him.
With that being said, that would be some tips on the best ways to have a car show is food.
Oh yeah.
You know, liquids.
Love food. Careful. with that
If
one.
you're at an expo center and you are the organizer, get food trucks and negotiate it into the contract because expo food sucks.
And don't make your show 8 hours plus. Don't.
Or if you are like
No.
do things consistently throughout the day.
I'll fight you all day, every day on that. The car show does not need to be over 8 hours. There's no reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
What's
It's too
your
much.
what's your cap? 5?
I don't want to put a cap on it, but I'll say a good range is I like being at a car show for around 3 hours personally.
That's way too short.
It might be no.
Financially-
Listen. Let me clarify. That's how long I like being
Yeah.
at the show doing stuff. For the event, I get it. Things take time. Parking people, getting people out, judging their cars. I get that stuff. So sure, but I'm just saying like
We have found the greatest, because at the end of the day, you also need to make enough money to support hosting them.
Sure,
Like if you're
sure.
doing a full event,
Yeah.
we found 5 hours to be the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like
5
to
hours is enough for the organizers to make money, for the food trucks to make money, for the event to be good. Sometimes the vendors don't make as much money on a 5-hour event. That's why, from a vendor perspective, having a longer event
Makes
does
sense. Yeah.
help. But then, it can get really costly to go to some of these shows. You want to be a secondary sponsor for Gatlinburg, and it's you're paying $6,000 to be that, which means if you're selling T-shirts
You gotta
and
sell a
you're
lot of
making
T-shirts.
30% margin, you got to sell a fuck ton of T-shirts to make that money back.
that's
To not even come back making money, just to break even. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different world, I guess.
It's a balancing game.
We should take a break.
Okay.
okay.
But before talking about our sponsor,
Sit down.
sit down. Sit. Where are you going?
I can still talk over here.
Oh God, he's mobile.
Oh no.
Mobile.
He's learned he's got toes. You want to do the plug?
Yeah, tell me about Fortunado.
I'm gonna tell you about Fortunado.
I'm listening.
Fortunado is another sponsor of the MartiniWorks podcast, and we're very thankful because they make some fantastic coilovers for pretty much any car you can imagine because they're hand built right here in the United States. They can custom build them for you. They can do some crazy stuff. They can modify the damping, the valving, anything that you want, custom spring rates, Swiss spring upgrades, the whole 9 yards, not to mention they're rebuildable and upgradable down the road.
I'm
If
listening.
you want to keep them around for a long time, or if you just want a better coilover after you bought your coilovers, you can stick with the same set you already bought. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and we've run them on a lot of our cars, and they've been fantastic coilovers, and we are grateful to have them as a sponsor as a MartiniWorks podcast, and you can also get them at martiniworks.com.
All right. Maybe I'll pick some up then.
Maybe you should.
Okay.
Maybe you should. Now you can stand up.
Okay.
All right, I have a story for you guys before we get into any sort of breaking news.
Tell me a story.
Did
Better be
you
good.
know the Buick Grand National
You're losing me.
started its
like those.
development because there was an actual engineer who was part of a Boy Scout troop group. And his goal was to help young men understand how engines and how the automotive world kind of worked to try and grow and foster
Yes, the engine
more
badge.
engineers into the future.
The Grand
And
National
so
badge.
he had a Buick Regal, and he was part of this Boy Scout troop. And he decided that he was going to teach them how forced induction worked on an engine.
I miss this part of the Boy Scouts.
Okay, so he went
Clearly.
and he took a naturally aspirated Buick Regal and slapped a turbocharger on it.
I should have joined the Boy Scouts.
Okay, so this was back I think in the late 70s.
Things are better.
And it was so good. The engine took to the turbocharger so well that I can't remember. He ended up taking it back to Buick, and he's like,
It's like, look at this.
hey, some Boy Scouts and I made this engine, and it kind of slaps. And Buick was like, well, hold on, let's take a look. Okay, we need to be sure. And they looked at it, they're like, This shit's not just good. We're putting this motherfucker in everything.
We're doing this from now on.
They made the V6 turbocharged, which was based on this Boy Scout troop,
this for
over
real?
100,000 times. They put this
crazy.
engine in fucking everything
I
they
didn't even
could.
know there was Buicks with turbo.
Yeah.
It was so reliable, and it helped bump up power so realistically, especially with the EPA and everything that was happening in the 70s. People looked at Buick, like Ford looked at Buick, and they're like, what the hell are they doing? Like they're
doing
an
it
old
right.
they're an
Okay.
old person brand. That doesn't make any sense. Why are you slapping turbochargers onto
Did
this?
Buick not know what a fucking turbocharger is? Every brand is
They didn't have so the thing with Buick and with this one specifically is the concept around a turbocharger was still relatively unreliable. It was still pretty hard to figure out how to make it work and just be consistent in performance and not do anything too crazy. A lot of times people associated turbochargers with performance cars. So a lot of companies just ended up not really touching it until it got later in the day. So Buick was like, okay, we're onto something. And they started kind of like inching this turbocharged V6 into things and learning a little bit more about it. The 70s kind of go out, the 80s come in, and they're like, we're going to do something special. 1981, there was the Cup Series that was called the Grand National Cup Series of NASCAR Championship, where Buick ended up doing super, super well. And to commemorate the win of the 1981 Grand National Cup of the NASCAR Series, they introduced in 1982 the Buick Grand National, which was using what we know, a turbocharged V6. This was the very first time that Buick would come out to make an actual performance car, and nobody had any idea, like, why. Like, it just came out.
They're
It
like,
just
oh,
existed. It was so good, it beat the Chevy Camaro, and it beat the Ford Mustang right out of the bat.
Damn.
And after only a year of being in production, was a whole second faster than the Corvette, which was like $8,000 more at the time.
God damn.
Thoughts on having the Boy Scouts build Alex S2K?
They'd probably be better at it when you think about like what they need to know.
God damn.
So finally, I think 1987 was the last year for the Buick Grand National, or they called it the GNX, which was also a nickname. They had it as Darth Vader as it got into the 90s, but it was actually co-developed by McLaren because Buick didn't want to impose any sort of like. They didn't want to slow down production of any of their other cars that were in the factory. So they reached out to McLaren and they're like, hey, can you help us develop like one last big huzzah?
Dude, it's crazy how like McLaren really had their hands in a lot of just
Everything.
random shit.
Everything, dude.
Like, it's crazy.
Any cool car from the 80s or 90s, McLaren is somewhere in there.
For real, honestly.
Doing something. And so they're like, yeah, absolutely, we can help with that. And so they built like 547 examples to include like the dealer incentive to push the car. But McLaren couldn't figure out how to like get the tune just right.
Sure.
They could figure it out on tracks and corners, but that straight line power, McLaren couldn't like tap into.
So they gave it back to the Boy Scouts.
No, so close.
Damn.
They
Oh.
gave it back to a Buick engineer and driver who had been with Buick for over 17 years. He had a Buick Grand National, and he had his own personal tune on his GNX. And so what ended up happening is he goes, oh, well, you can just use mine. So they gave the chip to McLaren, and what ended up resulting in the 87 GNX tune was a combination of this random, really prominent driver within the Buick team and McLaren. And that's how they got it.
We don't get shit like that anymore.
I know a lot about Buick, dude.
Thank you.
Big Buick guy.
Big Buick guy.
If you had to get a Buick, what would you get? I
Grand
know what I would
National,
get.
GNX.
I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it's Regal. I don't know. They came out with that new wagon.
Oh, the big
They're
wagon.
so slept on. I don't know what they have for an engine, but all I can think about every time I see one is just bagging it, slamming it on some wheels, and I think it would just
good.
break fucking necks. Dude, it is one of the best looking wagons. Plus, nobody makes wagons anymore. Shout out Buick for that one.
Buick and Volvo.
You guys get mad that I talk shit on domestic cars. There you go.
Yeah, there's a
fucking
Buick.
love the Buick.
Yeah,
Fucking
true.
Buick for president.
I think the Buick also still now has some sort of turbocharged V6 or 4-cylinder that like puts out a pretty good amount of horsepower. Because I have a buddy of mine that was in WCC that had one. It was like 304. Brad, it was like 340 horsepower, 360 horsepower. It was a Buick Regal Turbo, is what it was.
Yeah, I think those have. I could be wrong.
No,
but
they have
the LNF engine from the Cobalt SS.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it was a wicked quick car, and it was very comfy on the inside. So yeah, there you
they are
go.
a little nicer.
Chat if you like stories on history. Now you know a little bit. I wish I had the names off the top of my head, but I don't.
I'm having big brain fart. Is Buick Fords, right? No.
No, Buick was
Cadillac is Chevy's.
Oh, Cadillac. Yeah.
Or well, GM.
Buick wasn't any of it.
Is
Buick's not.
Soul, isn't it? Ford?
Well, if it had the LNF, it's got to be GM.
Oh, that's weird. You're right. What am I
It's
thinking?
GM.
Ah, yeah.
So Buick is GM, and they have Cadillac,
Yeah.
and GMC.
Yeah, because Ford has Lincoln.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I was getting. Thank you. Okay.
I do feel like GM in terms of like
Posture check.
performance, dude. My God, they got some cool stuff. There's
I
some
think
cool
Cadillac
stuff hiding in there.
Is really neat. I think they do a very good job with
Cadillac kind of get that like that Mercedes vibe to me though, where it's like super crazy, dumb expensive right out the gate, but then that fucking depreciation.
They do
is
have
crazy.
depreciation, but like they make some dope shit,
Yeah.
like the CTSV wagons. The
I feel like those have held on
Blackwings
pretty
and-
good though, because like they kind of get that little. I could be wrong. I feel like that rarity to them, where it's like
Yeah.
you never see them. Like there was only so many of them, so it's like they kind of hold their
You
value
see
a little
like
more.
a done up Cadillac, and
Yeah,
you're
it's
like,
like, oh shit,
God damn.
Well, it's
classy.
Yeah, another one is too is I feel like the CTSV specifically, it's not a car that enters the round of like you have option 1, 2, 3, the CTSV being option 3. I feel like people go into finding a CTSV wanting it.
Yeah.
And because of that, the prices have just held this like
Yeah,
upper.
yeah.
It's not like I always see people competing. They're like, do I get an Audi R8 or do I get a GTR? Like, and then you see those markets compete against each other in price. You look at if somebody's like, I want a Blackwing.
It's like that's
Like,
in a market.
I'm getting a goddamn Blackwing. There's
of
nothing
itself.
It's
else.
not competing with anything
Yeah.
else. You're like tunnel focused.
You're
on
right. You're right. That's what it is.
The closest thing is a Corvette. And it's like, no, I want 4 doors and I want a trunk. I'm getting a fucking Blackwing, okay? And it's going to be dope.
I think I'd want a Blackwing over a Vet, honestly. I think Vets are cool, though. I will say that. I think, like, for domestic cars out of them, I know I do talk a lot of shit, and I stand by that. Challengers, boring. Mustangs have gotten boring to me. Camaros, better than the Mustang, but still not thrilled.
Out of all the new muscle cars, which one do you think is the ugliest?
Ooh.
I feel like the Camaro's got a little ugly.
They're so weird looking.
The Mach-E. I'm just kidding.
Why did you say it like that?
Mach-E.
All right,
It
Mario.
was like the sigh at the end.
Trying to think. I don't know. I don't think any of them are inherently bad
no.
looking. The worst
Oh,
out of
dude,
them,
base model Camaros, you don't think are a little...
they're whatever. They
I'd
look
say,
like
like,
normal traffic.
A few
base
years
model
ago,
Camaros.
I think they got like a different like facelift, didn't they?
Yeah, they look
I
like...
think the headlights got a little weird. Some things got changed around a
It's
little
just
bit.
like the
Mustang
Camaro
looks
looks like
good.
that bird that's like looking over and it's like looking down at the camera. It just kind of has this
What?
weird little face to it. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, it sounded so specific.
Have you ever
I was
seen
like,
like
what are you
have you ever
referencing?
seen a bald eagle from straight on?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it kind of looks a little underwhelming.
No, but isn't
that's
that
our national bird,
yeah,
bro?
Okay.
That's exactly
You
what they're
fucking
going
watch
for. They
yourself.
want it to look like a bald eagle.
Guys, have you ever seen... Guys, you need to look at a picture of a bald eagle
Yeah.
from the front.
Oh, I have.
It's very like whimpery. It's not like
You
from
watch
when it's like down
yourself.
like this. It's like
you
really-
watch yourself.
I'm telling you, dude. Look at a bald eagle.
from the front.
He's
I want to look at a
Googling
bald
this.
eagle from the back.
Like, look, that's the look. That's what I'm talking about.
That was I feel like
Okay, that's a very specific.
kind of cherry picked. That one's a little cherry
But
picked.
that's what I'm talking about. Look at the new Camaro. Look at that picture. They look the same. Tell me a
I
difference.
think it's more like that. Like,
no,
Yeah.
no, cherry
like
picking.
that,
He's
the
cherry
first
picking.
one. He's having a rough day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we shouldn't be.
You don't know what that eagle's been through.
Yeah, my fucking country. The turkey almost had it. And I wouldn't have been mad about it. I fucking loved it. Wait, no, I would be because you probably couldn't eat turkeys if it was the national bird.
Then you'd have to have eagles on Thanksgiving.
That's a crazy thing.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
They lost like that fucking vote for like the national bird, and now we just mass genocide them every
You
year.
think bald eagle?
That's the worst second
Welcome
place
to
ever.
America.
Guys,
the worst
you guys
second
think
place ever.
bald eagle tastes good?
No, I
Why-
don't want to even think about that. That's
I think
illegal.
it might be the best, and only the elites know that. So they say, "Yeah, you can't shoot them, you can't kill them." But they're killing them and they're eating them. And dude, bald eagles are fucking massive.
Yeah.
That'd be a big bird on the table.
Dakota's on a list officially.
I've
ruling
never
over
ate one. I'm never probably going to eat one. But I'm just saying because it could have been flipped. Like you said, we could have had turkey, can't eat them. and bald eagles were on the. And I was like,
imagine the mass influx of turkeys walking around if we couldn't eat them.
Dude, yeah,
those are
stupid.
stupid.
They already. I see them walking around all
They're
the time.
stupid looking birds, man. They're just
Jesus, dude.
What do
That's
you mean?
almost our national.
They look like a bloated balloon with like two sticks
sick.
tied to the
They're like,
bottom.
This dude
They have a
hates
bunch of
birds.
crazy
Like an old
colors
person's
and-
testicles on his head.
the
It's just
fuck
a
are we
fucked up
talking
looking
about?
bird. The turkey's an ugly looking bird.
Yeah.
And the eagle from the front kind of looks like a brand new Chevy Camaro. A little underwhelming. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay, so that's the one you think is the ugliest.
What do you think is the ugliest?
Yeah, what do you think? Joe?
I agree with the
Turkey
Camaro.
man.
I said the Camaro. Not saying it's generally like bad.
No, it's not a bad car. It just looks
them,
funky.
Yeah, out of them, it's not my favorite with its current state. I think the S650 looks really good.
The S650
Yeah.
does look really
Yeah, I think those are decent looking cars.
Ford did a great job on the S650 and the S550 too. I think both of them look
Yeah, those are
fantastic.
both.
Yeah.
I also think the Dodges, I know they've got a lot of issues. Like they have some predispositions by the community, but a muscle
takeover
car,
cars?
but the muscle car looking like a muscle car, you cannot beat like the front end look of a SRT 392 challenge. Like they
looks
just
aggressive.
look so good. It's just
Handles like shit, looks decent.
yeah,
I
and
agree.
fast as hell in a straight line.
Yep, yep.
Sometimes
Lot
not
of
even
powers.
that.
300,000-pound doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big doors. Huge doors.
But they do look good. No, I think Chargers and Challengers are good looking cars. Unless I see every single one I see driving down the road with those stupid yellow fucking bumper guards, I get angry.
I've
at.
seen people. You want to know what I've seen now?
you can buy
Getting worse.
you can buy aftermarket variants of
That's what I saw. I saw some girl had pink ones. They had pink bumper guards on their Dodge Hellcat thing.
You're a fucking idiot.
All right, one last one before we finish up the podcast. What do we think is the ugliest European or tuner car that's just come out?
That's
Because
just
it's not
come out?
fair. It's not fair to only pick on the domestics.
I like the look of the new GTIs and Golf Rs. They grew on me. I thought they looked a little weird. I hated the new M2. Now I love it. BMW did the classic thing.
I gotta say, the non M2 is
Like
probably the ugliest BMW I've ever seen.
No,
in my life.
it's like this. What the fuck is it? It's like the bigger ones, and what is it, like the 5 Series or
It's
something?
like
the newer base model, like 5 Series.
Oh no! Remember when we saw the
that's what it-
7 Series
what it
that was
was.
like 62 feet long
Yeah,
at that
it was
restaurant?
massive.
That was the
Yeah.
ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. It just looked like
wow.
BMW just slapped a couple things together and then just like booted it on the. And it was
that
the
was-
L too. It was the long version.
Yeah, it was wild.
Double L.
Double L.
I don't know what that was.
You don't need to worry about it.
And then for tuner cars, so now I don't know why you said Euro and tuner. Do you mean like Euro and JDM? Is that where we're going? Or-
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. JDM car that looks ugly that just came out recently. The new Civic Si. I still don't like that. And it is so weird because I do really like the Type R. There's just enough subtle differences that I think the Civic Si looks like a base model Accord and the Type R looks like the Type R should look.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think it's just the arrow.
So new Civic Si I think is, and I've seen a couple now on the street and I still am just like,
Yeah.
eh.
The what is it? The Subaru BRZ, the new one.
What?
Is it the BRZ?
Are you
Right,
thinking
it's
of
called?
the WRX?
No. I'm talking about the sister of that one.
Yeah, it's a BRZ.
BRZ. So Subaru did a different front bumper
Yep.
and different front grill on that
It is,
car,
yeah,
and it
slightly
looks terrible.
I-
I think it looks super.
I don't like the
super.
BRZ.
I just like.
That's
I
why
don't like it.
86 looks better.
That's why the GR86 Toyota delayed the GR86 because they're like, we don't like it. We're going back to the drawing board on the front end, and it
Really?
came out later because they wanted to.
I didn't know that.
And I'm
glad they did
I'm
that.
glad they did
because
that
GR86 front end looks way better. I
the
agree.
GR86 is one of my.
Subaru is on some bullshit lately. Like all their newer cars.
I don't
are-
like the new WRX at all.
No.
I
They
They
don't
need
like
to
the
pull
look of
the
it.
old Hyundai book and just go hire people way smarter
I
than
I just
them.
don't know
love-
what they did. Like,
I love the people with the Subaru WRX that are like, no, look at this one. They painted all the fenders. They did more aero. They added. It's like
you
cool.
undid
You spent
everything.
$15,000 to make it look like it should have came from the factory.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I agree though. Like, there are ways to make it look drastically better.
Yeah,
but you
it's like-
shouldn't have to do that
But it's
much
like,
to
I
make
look
it
at
look
it too.
normal.
It's like, okay, I'm modifying it, right? Like that's still part of modifying it. But like, yeah, it just the way that the reason that it came like that from factory is just super weird.
Back end of the new WRX looks like a loaded diaper.
What?
Yeah.
Look at it.
I
can
can't
see
see
that.
it now. I don't want to see it. I would.
Well,
say
you're
that.
gonna.
Well, with that being said, you guys can let us know in the comments below how much you think is the ugliest or prettiest domestic, JDM, or European car. And of course, if y'all are looking for car parts, mod your car at MartiniWorks.com. Please also remember that these are our opinions, and just like buttholes, they stink as well. So, with that being said, Gels, anything you want to add?
Not after that.
Dakota?
Anyone watch Shrek? after I
We're
said
done with
something?
this. We're done.
I
with
missed
this.
anyone-
that
We're
podcast.
done with this.
What
Shrek.
happened with
We're
Shrek?
done. No,
Wait,
no
you
Shrek.
weren't in that at all.
No, Lars was here.
No, we're not talking about Shrek.
Just go watch
All
Shrek.
right, Alex, go away.
Like Alex
Oh,
was saying,
God.
Transformers, watching that again, he realized how good it was. It's the same thing with Shrek.
I have to watch Shrek again.
We thought it was good when we were little. It's even better now.
Just the first one or all three?
Nah, just
the
go
trilogy?
watch the first one.
Okay.
Maybe the second one if you're really
Did they
feeling
make
it.
a 3D Shrek?
No.
They made
Oh,
everything
no,
in 3D in
yeah,
the early 2000s.
there was- yes.
Was it like Shrek 3D?
No.
That was a trend for a while.
It was. Everything came out in 3D. They stopped doing that now.
Good.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. You don't need to watch
The
Shrek.
3D
I'm
was
going to
never
watch
really like that good. Like it was always like, okay.
You're saying that Spy Kids 3D, your favorite movie of all time, wasn't that good?
I watched Spy Kids 3D and 2D every time.